The European Championships is really kicking into gear as we're getting down into our final four, as France are the newest inductees into the final four in the semifinals of the European Championships. And to get there, they had to overcome a Portugal team that gave a whole lot of fight and just about missed out on penalties, as Joao Felix would be the victim of something that no player would ever want to be on the end of. But it was a game that for many people was kind of boring, especially coming off the back of that exhilarating high tempo game between Spain and Germany. But it was a game that just continued to earmark to me how unconvincing this France team is. And to be very honest, how lucky they still are to be in this tournament. But of course, before we get into all of that, and a major problem that I have with this France team, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like, comment so you stay within the algorithm. If you don't like the content, you could always unsubscribe. Make sure to hit the post notification bell so you never ever miss out on a new video. But let's get right into it. Now, of course, throughout the tournament, France have not been very convincing. I'd say in every single game they've played, they've not been good. And they just get through, as we discussed in their last video, because of how good their defense is. And when your defense is that good, it ultimately means as long as your attack can create one or two good chances, you're going to come out on top at the end of the day. And especially in international football, tournament knockout football, you don't need to have free-flowing attackers. Yes, Spain have shown us you can do it. Yes, Germany have shown us you can do it. But as long as your defense is resolute and you don't concede many goals, many chances, you're probably going to go far in whichever tournament it is that you're taking part in. And in this tournament, France have gone all the way to the semifinals. But we talked about it in the last game. And I'm going to go over to the tactics board and show you exactly what I mean. That in this game, they set up in a pretty similar way to the way they've been setting up throughout most of the tournament. They reverted back to the typical way that they reverted before Antoine Griezmann got dropped in the Poland game. We talked about it in the Belgium game. He was adopting a way too far wide and advanced position on the right-hand side. In this game, he was adopting a more number 10 position, as you can see here. He was in between the midfield and the defense of Portugal as they set up in a 4-4-2 out of possession. But of course, Antoine Griezmann in these positions, this is where you want him to be, and this is where he's always going to have impact on the game. I thought he was very influential in this game, a lot more than he was in the last game. Got into good positions, created a lot of chances, as you'd expect from him. Eduardo Camavinga came into the side to replace, I believe it was Adrien Rabiot, who was suspended. It'll be interesting to see whether he still plays the next game now that Rabiot is back in contention to start in the semifinal, but I doubt he's gonna, because Deschamps is obsessed with Adrien Rabiot. But Camavinga did his job. He was close with Tchouaméni throughout the game. It was like a double pivot between the two of them. And then the midfielder who was in a lot of space throughout the game was N'Golo Kante. And that was the main problem that I had with France. Throughout the game, we talked about it in the last video. These guys do not have a creative midfielder. They don't have a creative midfielder. And in the last video, when I was telling you that Eduardo Camavinga should come in for Adrien Rabiot, I didn't say it in the idea that Eduardo Camavinga is going to come in and be that number 10, or Eduardo Camavinga is going to come in and create chances at will. No, I just believe that Adrien Rabiot and Camavinga gives you more as a complete footballer. You saw how good he was defensively, covering for Theo Hernandez throughout the game. So in that aspect, I don't think Eduardo Camavinga is going to be your solution. But I look at somebody like N'Golo Kante, and I'm not here to rain on his parade. I love the story of N'Golo Kante going to Saudi Arabia, kind of falling off, and now all of a sudden he's back in the French national squad. That's not what I'm here to do. But the fact is that this man gets into so many good positions, and I'm going to show you guys it. He gets into so many good positions, but he's not the sort of player that should be in those positions. He doesn't have the technical abilities to take advantage of those positions. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. You look at it here. When N'Golo Kante is in these positions, look at where he is now. And you look at Kylian Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann adopting a deeper position. He was free roaming all over the field, just as you'd expect him to. And he plays a ball one time into Kylian Mbappe, and he lays it off one time because that's what Mbappe wants to do. Lay it off to you, spin, get in behind. N'Golo Kante gets the ball here, and any good number 10 would take a good touch, or they would understand what Kylian Mbappe is trying to do here. But N'Golo Kante doesn't understand that. He doesn't read it. He's not even supposed to be in that sort of area of the field. I don't even know why N'Golo Kante is that advanced. But I guess out of the three midfielders, that was what they kind of came upon. He receives the ball here. He's not even alive to the ball. The ball gets out of his reach and it goes back to Portuguese possession. You have another example here. Look at the amount of space N'Golo Kante is occupying. Look at the amount of space N'Golo Kante is occupying on the field. He's the highest midfielder of the three. You have Tchouaméni, you have Camavinga, and you have N'Golo Kante. This is why they need a creative midfielder, because you only have two strikers. Antoine Griezmann is roaming all over the place. You need that third player You need that third midfielder who's just going to give you a bit of something going forward. I'm not saying you need a number 10. I'm not saying deploy another winger on the field. You could do that, it'd be risky, but you just need something. Because look at the position he gets into here. And he drives with the ball, and he doesn't even do anything with it. He drives with the ball and then he just gives it to Kylian Mbappe, who then receives the ball here. And look at where N'Golo Kante is. Look at where N'Golo Kante is standing. Portugal have, I believe, 6 players in and around the box here. 6 to 8 players. N'Golo Kante is standing on the edge of the box, not offering Mbappe a pass, not offering him a 1-2, not making a run to move players out of the way, not even trying to overlap so that Mbappe can come inside. He stands in the same position, to the point that Kylian Mbappe tries to pass the ball back to Theo Hernandez, who is completely offside. And if you look at the 2 pictures here, in these 2 seconds, 37:29, 37:31, look at N'Golo Kante's positioning. He's in the exact same position in 2 full seconds. The only person in the France squad who is actually making an incisive run, a run with any attacking intent, a run with any sort of intelligence, is Antoine Griezmann. He's the only one making any sort of run that's moving the Portuguese defense around. Mbappe is trying to communicate with his players. Theo Hernandez is completely offside. N'Golo Kante is standing in one position. He's not an attacking midfielder. You move it on again. Look at the position he has here. He is not an attacking midfielder. And this is my problem with this France midfield. And they might get by. They might continue to win games. They might ultimately win the whole tournament. I think they're going to win the whole tournament, even though these guys have not been good throughout the tournament. But when I watch stuff like this, I'm like, Deschamps, give me something. Like, this France squad is the best squad in the whole tournament. Like, let's be so honest. These guys have the best team. They have the best player. They have the best squad. There are multiple players who were not even called up to this squad that would moonwalk into majority of the squads in this tournament. Yet they didn't even get to fly to Germany. And then you have someone like N'Golo Kante in a position that's not his best position, doing things that he's not supposed to be doing. Look at this positioning here. He has the ball here. Antoine Griezmann is the obvious pass. The obvious pass. It's a risky pass, but it's the obvious pass. Or you can even attempt a switch to Jules Koundé because Nuno Mendes is so narrow. What does N'Golo Kante do? He plays the ball back to Camavinga, the safest pass he could have possibly picked. Because if he had played a pass here to Antoine Griezmann, Kylian Mbappe is on the blind side. Ruben Diaz is out of position. There's a whole gap open for Mbappe to run into. But what does N'Golo Kante do? Plays it back to Camavinga. Camavinga plays a ball out wide to Theo Hernandez, which is intercepted, and Portugal get the ball back. And it's like, what is the point of this guy being in these positions if he's not going to do anything risky with it? If he's not going to actually create any chances? If he's not actually going to take initiative to do something out of the ordinary? But at the same time, I don't blame him because that's not N'Golo Kante's game. Never in his career has N'Golo Kante been affiliated with creating chances, affiliated with causing chaos for the opposition. This man is a central defensive midfielder, box-to-box midfielder who will win tackles, win the ball back for you, carry the ball up the field, and give it to those who can actually create something. Another example of it here. This is the quick tempo, quick play that you need N'Golo Kante to be doing. And this was one of the brief moments he actually showed that sort of trait. Kylian Mbappe receives the ball on the left, jinks past one, plays it into N'Golo Kante. N'Golo Kante gives it to him straight. One touch, no playing about, no messing about. One touch, N'Golo Kante gives it back to Kylian Mbappe, and he gets a shot off. And of course, the keeper saves it easily, but at least you created something. At least you're working the goalkeeper, you're working the defense, you're making people move around, you're getting Mbappe involved in the game. But then if you're moving the ball so slowly, how do you expect Kylian Mbappe to get involved? You look at another example here. Rafael Leao is completely fallen over, slipped over, I don't know what happened. Feet fell out from under him. N'Golo Kante has all that space to go into, and he does so, drives into the space. He has Kylian Mbappe. He has Koulibaly. Do you know what this man did? Plays a completely aimless cross, comfortably caught by Diogo Costa. Comfortably caught by Diogo Costa. And again, I don't blame him. This is not his game. I see people like Warren Zaire-Emery on the bench. And I see people like Antoine Griezmann in this team. Bring on a winger or something who will actually take the most of those opportunities. You move it on again. Here, he's got Ousmane Dembele. He's got Marcus Thuram. If he's got that pass through the eye of the needle, but he doesn't have that in his locker. And even if he doesn't have all that, you've got Kylian Mbappe screaming for a pass on the right side. What does N'Golo Kante do? Takes a pitiful shot straight down the keeper. Straight at the keeper. And it's like, why? Again, I don't blame him, but this is my problem with this France midfield. There's no spark in this midfield. There's no forward moving There's nothing. There's nothing there creativity wise. And of course, again, look at him here. He's got Marcus Thuram in the pocket. He's got Mbappe on the left side. He's got Dembele to his right. What does he do? He shoots it straight at the keeper again. And it's like, how many chances do you need? And these aren't chances per se, but these are half chances. And half chances are chances at the highest level, especially in a game that was this tight. These are chances because if you actually show a bit of quality, a bit of dynamism, a bit of outside the box thinking, you can turn that half chance into a big chance. If N'Golo Kante plays this ball to Mbappe, it's Mbappe versus Nelson Semedo. If he plays a ball into Marcus Thuram might be in on goal. If he plays the ball out wide to Ousmane Dembele is 1v1 and you can move to the next phase. But instead, he gives the ball away carelessly, just shooting the ball straight at the goalkeeper. But then, I don't even blame him because it wasn't just him who was moving the ball slowly. It's like this whole France team, they don't move the ball fast enough. I'm sorry to say, for a team that has this many players that are this athletic, that are this good, they don't move the ball fast enough. You look at this example here, Kylian Mbappe, one of the only few players who actually looked like he wanted to move the ball quickly. Him and Antoine Griezmann. Plays the ball into Kolo Muani. Antoine Griezmann is making a fantastic run. They've played it perfectly here because Kylian Mbappe drags Ruben Diaz out of position. The gap is open up in the defense. Kolo Muani, one touch with your left foot, play into Antoine Griezmann. He gets a shot on goal. You never know what happens. What does Kolo Muani do? Can't sort his feet right. Takes 2, 3, 4 touches. Space gets closed down. And Portugal clear. Move the ball faster. One touch play. One touch out of your feet. Play it. Shoot. Do something. Quickly. There was no quick tempo. And I think that's exactly why later on in the game you saw Ousmane Dembele come on. But then another example of it here. Kylian Mbappe's got the ball. And I've been heavily critical of Kylian Mbappe throughout this tournament. But I feel like sometimes, even the best players, you have to give me something. You have to give me something. Look at this example here. Kylian Mbappe receives the ball. He's on the left-hand side. None of his players are making any movement. Moving on again. Plays it to Antoine Griezmann. Between this screenshot and this screenshot that I've showed you here, which players have actually moved their position? Which players have actually moved? Jules Koundé is in the same position. Theo Hernandez is in the same position. Tchouaméni is in the same position. Camavinga is in the same position. Kolo Muani is in the same position. So he plays it to Antoine Griezmann. Nobody's moving to the point that Antoine Griezmann plays it back to Kylian Mbappe. In the space of about 6 seconds, everybody's still standing in the exact same position. Of course, Portugal are going to keep a clean sheet. Of course, Portugal are not going to have any problems. This attack actually leads to the point that Jules Koundé gets the ball on the right-hand side through sideways passing and backwards passing. This then leads up to Portugal getting a throw-in because France played the ball out. And it's like, where is the actual out-of-the-box thinking? Where is the creativity? Where is the dynamism? Where is the quick play? Where's the chaos? There's none of it. There's no quick tempo playing. There's nothing. France are just playing the ball from side to side and then giving it to Mbappe and thinking he's going to work magic. How is he going to work magic if my teammates are all standing still? If my striker in the box is not moving? If my midfielders are not supporting me, giving me a pass, giving me an option? What do you want him to do? And that's exactly why you saw Ousmane Dembele come on in the second half. And he was electric. He was incredible in this game. Came off the bench, just provided that quick, like moving the ball quickly, providing an outlet, providing a genuine change in tempo, a change in pace. Look at him here, receives the ball here. N'Golo Kante in this position, only Lord knows what he would have done with this ball. Only Lord knows what he would have done with this ball. But Ousmane Dembele plays it immediately into Kylian Mbappe, who's looking for the ball. He's opened his body up for it, and he gets a touch, shoots it, and is blocked by Nuno Mendes. But of course, you're increasing the tempo. You're making the defenders work. You have another example of it here. Ousmane Dembele jinks past 2 or 3. He's in between Pepe and Nuno Mendes, manages to squeeze the ball through both of them, plays into Camavinga. Camavinga puts this shot wide. Should be scoring from that position. He puts the shot wide. But another chance, another form of chaos created by France, created by Ousmane Dembele. And that was my biggest problem with France throughout this game. It just felt like they did not move the ball fast enough. They were so slow to make decisions. It feels like they're kind of scared to make decisions, which doesn't make sense to me because this France team is filled with elite winners and serial winners from head to toe. And generally, I don't think it's going to hurt them because I still think they're going to beat Spain. But this France team is not good. Honestly, this France team is not good. I really don't know how they're still in this tournament. It's actually a real shame that a team like this is still in the tournament while teams who are actually playing well, who are actually creating chances, who are actually moving the ball quickly, who are actually solid defensively. France are solid defensively, but are actually entertaining. They're getting knocked out. While this France team, who have not even scored a goal from open play, It is the semifinals. They've not scored a goal from open play, are still in the tournament. It's baffling. It's honestly baffling. But on to Portugal. Portugal in this game, they could have had their own lion's share of goals. This was a nil-nil game that definitely shouldn't have ended nil-nil, honestly. Mike Magnan saved France on multiple occasions. The Vitinha chance, the Bruno Fernandes chance that Cancelo created, the Ronaldo chance. To be fair to him, the ball was a bit behind him. The Joao Felix chance, the Leao chance that Upamecano blocked, that I genuinely think if he didn't block that, that would have probably gone into the back of the net. So Portugal had their fair share of chances. I think Portugal played a good game. France didn't really give them any real threat defensively. I feel like Portugal managed the game pretty well. And of course, when the game goes to penalties, anything's going to happen. Anybody could be the victim of penalty shootouts. But at the same time, it's not like Portugal have lit this tournament alight even before this game. So all things considered, I think it was kind of fair France went through. I expected France to win the game. I told you guys it would be a cagey, boring game. And then one team would probably just nick it. Probably going to be France. It was France. So nothing really surprising there. But it was a shame to see Pepe and Ronaldo clapping off the fans. And it seems like this is probably going to be their last tournaments for Portugal. Pepe, definitely. Ronaldo, he still hasn't said anything on the matter. But it's just kind of a shame, especially when you look at the way that Toni Kroos is leaving and now Pepe and now Ronaldo. These are players who I grew up watching throughout my entire childhood, watching Barcelona play against them in El Clasicos. These are legends of the game. And to think that this is the last time I'm probably ever going to see them on my TV and probably the last time I'm ever going to watch these guys grace the field, it definitely hit home for me. But it's a shame. France move on to the semifinals. Portugal go crashing home again. Roberto Martinez. This Portugal team, there is so much talent in this squad, but they need to get rid of that manager. He is not good whatsoever. I don't know how they saw what he did at Belgium and thought, yep, that's the guy for us. Roberto Martinez is not fit to manage players of this quality. But nevertheless, France will go on to face Spain in the semifinals, which should be a very interesting game. A team who is so good defensively versus a team who has so much dynamism going the other way. Should be interesting to see who comes out on top. I think France will probably still come out on top, even though they have not been good throughout the entire tournament. But I just don't see Spain breaking down that defense. Honestly, I don't. Especially with Mike Magnan in goal. It's going to be tough. But, of course, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any thoughts that differ from what I think, as I said, this is a discussion channel. This isn't just me talking about football. Let me know down in the comments. If you like the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you would like to see more. But, of course, as always, it's au revoir from me. Take care of yourselves.